Fucking what just happened? Okay.
You never say no to a dwarf in the nude.
And Kraloth looks a bit concerned as well.
That's right, we're rolling dice tonight.
Now we're gonna need some dynamite, I think.
Not invented yet.
Listen here, Green Whistle. If there's one thing true about me, it's that I don't think.
Not even once.
It's true.
And Dorian looks back, a little bit of a bum blush, and he says, "Oh, I'm not really sure. I almost squashed you guys."
I love that bum
Maybe,
blush has become a thing.
It's canon. It's
So
Bum
canon.
happy.
blush. Hashtag bum blush.
Welcome back to Dice Shame. This is episode 63, Party Animal.
MVP this week is Maisie Starr for her amazingly kind Podchaser review. Thank you so much, Maisie. And please, if you have a moment, go leave us a review of your own.
If you're listening to this episode when it comes out, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays from all of us at Dice Shame and the Invictus stream. Stay safe, and thanks so much for listening this year.
Merry Christmas.
All right, should we get to it?
Let's do it. Here we go now. La 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 la. La la dice shame.
Very good. I don't know about you guys, but I personally always tend to fall back on wearing kind of a personal uniform day in and day out. I have a standard black tank top usually and like,
Same.
you know, whatever kind of pants that I have going on.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's easy. I have like fucking 20 black tank tops.
You do. I fold them.
I know you
There's
do.
a lot.
And I like it. I don't have to think about what I'm going to wear. I'll put like a sweater on top, but I always got my black tank top going on. And I wanted to know, we haven't ever really talked about it, but what do your characters wear? What do your characters wear? I think in one of the first few episodes, Red, you described your cloak that you wear because you mentioned your hood that
Yes.
covers your severed ears.
Yeah.
But no one else really talked about it. And now that we're getting, merch out there, we're having some really amazing fan art done of our characters. We're seeing like Jack in a poncho and like
Which I could see.
I mean,
Poncho Jack.
It would be a fancy poncho.
it would. It would have really nice pockets.
I definitely picture Jack as wearing, like, if you look at like the 1920s archaeologists where you got people like digging up dinosaur bones and stuff, but they're all kind of like in a button-up shirt with rolled up sleeves and a tie.
Yeah.
Sure.
I kind of always picture him channeling that with like a big bag strapped around him and and some kind of jacket that's a little bit too fancy to be like traipsing through the woods and tunnels and stuff, but it doesn't stop him.
Does Jack wear a tie? A fantasy tie?
It's very possible. Like I don't know what a Forgotten Realms fantasy tie looks. I don't think it's a bow tie, but
I'm thinking cravat, right? Like that fabric that you like tuck in.
Ascot-
Yeah,
ascot.
An ascot,
Yes,
yes.
So like something just a little bit. I mean, a little bit too fancy to be traipsing around in the mud.
Jack in a nutshell.
But the thing about quality clothing is that it's durable, right? So like I picture you go for a tumble, right? And then but your clothing's never ripped. Like it's durable and it washes well. So like
Wow.
yeah, you don't expect to see you traipsing around, but you are, and it suits you.
Jack's got the best clothes money can buy.
Yeah.
It's adventuring formal wear.
Now, but he doesn't have mending. Like he's not fixing it, magically. Like it's still worn and durable, and he's
That's what Dorian does.
Of
course.
There's a lived-in quality to it, right? Like he's not afraid of
Right.
of the real world in that sense.
What about everyone else?
Dorian, for all of his rough and gruffness, he wears an armored sort of tunic that has leg flaps that go down,
And a
yeah, okay,
butt
okay.
flap?
like armored leg
Yeah.
flaps
Yeah.
Samurai style.
over top of pants. Yeah, sort of like samurai style, exactly. But no, it's not. It's funny enough. It's not torn and not torn and ragged like his personality.
No, because canonically you mend everyone's shit when you have a minute in between battles at the fireside.
Yeah.
If there's a piece of chainmail that's like come unlinked, you're there with pliers fixing it.
Yeah. If I have a tear in a jacket, I sew it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I cut off
Right.
threads because I don't want threads to turn into fraz and then frizzled and then
Into what?
Fraz, you know.
frayed.
Frads.
Fraz.
Frayed fraz.
frayed
Frizzle
nuts.
flizzle flat.
Friend Rob.
I was also
Fra-
Rob, you know.
Frazzy Frob.
Kraloth.
He mostly cares about finding clothes that fit him rather than, actually
Yeah.
style, which is personally a problem that
6'7".
real life Kraloth Justin has to deal with on a regular
Mhm.
basis. And one thing that he does wear that I don't know if he's going to need too much anymore, his pack has a pole that extends from it, rises up, where he would keep his lantern. When he would
Oh.
wander around Barovia, all of
That's
the
right.
people that he would travel with, would need a source of light, and the lantern would hang from that. He'd cast light on whatever was inside, and
That's pretty
it
neat,
would-
actually.
I like that.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah, that's stylish as hell.
Yeah, but he doesn't need it anymore now that he's got these goggles.
I almost feel like because of Kraloth's height, there's like he's wearing normal pants, but then there's a second leg that's been sewn on of like a different fabric, like an extra
Yeah.
foot long for the pant leg.
I like that though. Unassuming, but you got some weird accessories.
I got some weird accessories.
And Red, you are a furry creature, so I mean, I don't think tabaxis wear shoes.
No,
you have a cloak.
What we wear are sort of like leg wrappings. Like it goes around the heels of our feet all the way up to just below our knees. And it's sort of like you've seen me tie them tight with leather straps many times. It's almost like lacing up boots, except it leaves the front part of our feet uncovered. But Red is very interesting because being the only tabaxi you've seen besides B, you always sort of thought he dressed typical to tabaxis, but B dresses very differently. Red dresses more like a human. He wears a lot of layers, a lot of cloth fabric layers wrapped around himself with a breastplate. He's got half plate mithril armor that is under his cloak, which lies on top. And it's sort of a deep forest green cloak that now around you guys, he mainly leaves down. But when you first met him, he kept up a lot because he was a little bit more self-conscious about his ears being severed. And he's also got a shoulder pauldron on only one shoulder again.
Interesting. I never heard about that
Yeah, we've never asked.
before. It's been 60
What does Red wear on his
fucking
left
episodes.
shoulder?
That's for the old one too.
Well, he's got one, and then sort of on his other arm, he's sort of got like a leather V strap. It's all sort of attached to
The quiver and
to
stuff.
the quiver
in the
on
back.
his back as well as bow, and then
What's
his
the
rapier. on
pauldron
his front side.
for? Is it fashion? Is it got
No,
a
it's-
utility?
It's because he always aims one way, right? It's always the shoulder that is out when he's got his hand extended.
So he would have
So-
two, but he's an archer.
Well, that's the thing. So his forward arm, his left arm, is more heavily armored, whereas his right hand is typically only has a half glove, which keeps his fingers exposed.
Cool.
Which means when he is, if he ever needs to turn away from an incoming shot, his left side is more likely to take the hit, whereas his right side is a little bit more exposed. It's
love
also
that.
when he duels,
That's a cool
because the way he fights is like fencing. So also when he draws with his right hand, he's not armored in his right hand, so that he can actually move quicker with his right hand than his left.
So
Interesting.
what's B wear then that's more typically tabaxi in
Traditional.
I think she's got she's wearing suede, so it's animal hide, but it's
Yeah.
treated in a really specific way. I think she's got like a bomber jacket type thing going on up top,
Cool.
but then she's got like a skirt. So it's like a skirt with shorts on underneath,
Yeah.
and her tail comes out the back.
But like a lot of pieces, like her,
Yeah,
she's kind of
yeah.
got a tank top type thing too, where it's like leather straps and like again, hand wraps are really really popular wraps because with tabaxis, whether it be feet or hands, we always want access to our claws, so wraps are always preferred, unless you're Red, who typically dresses like a human, which is confusing.
Yeah.
And B's ears are not clipped.
Nope.
No,
Nor
neither is her tail.
tail. And what about Orin? Before we get into this episode, what's Orin wearing?
Oh, Orin's wearing a bright little blue waistcoat and some smart brown trousers.
Huge.
Nice.
I think he's got like a popper hat on top as well.
And no shoes?
Mhm.
And no, he doesn't wear shoes. And he's got like 6 instruments just
Yeah,
strapped
I was gonna ask.
to his back.
No shoes club, buddy.
And the reason that I am interested in all of this stuff is because it's almost the wedding day, but not quite yet. So you found the rear of the rock slide, and Green Whistle has begged you to come back through the cave system now that you've vanquished the monsters preventing him from reaching his beloved. what do you want to do now?
I guess we got to go back to him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's no sense staying here, although maybe tonight I'll come back and study that other room with the weird magical energy for a little bit.
Well, I mean, once we get Green Whistle, we'll all want to come back here. I want to see who his bride-to-be is, assuming that it's not a creature that's going to eat him.
I'm sure it's going to be fine. I believe in love.
I also believe in love, and I truly believe that he's probably met somebody, and I suppose if he crawls into that cave and it turns out to be one of those walking catfish, that it'll just gobble him up anyways, right?
Tabaxi fish.
Look, we can believe in love and still be cautious. I feel like we've gone to a very binary way of thinking, and that's not necessarily true. Let's just go back, tell him, and then escort him to his true love. And then if everything is hunky, we'll watch them kiss or something. Is that what you do when you're in love? I don't really know. And I looked at Kraloth with big hard eyes.
I don't know.
Yeah, bro. Tail bump. Oh, I don't have one. And neither do you. All right, let's go back.
Okay.
So you guys head back through the passages and caverns of this cave system back into the entryway. I guess this little mini cave where the rope is dangling down from the hole that leads to the surface. And you see the silhouette above you of Green Whistle's horned head looking down. Oh, there you are.
Hey, Green Whistle.
Come on up.
All right. And I climb back up.
We've cleared the cavern out of all of the monsters that were there within. Should be safe to bring you there.
He helps you guys all up out of the hole, offering you his little arm. Truly, I have to thank you so much for helping me with this whole cave issue. This is amazing. Thank you, friends. Morella told me I would have to wait there inside the cavern for her on our wedding day, and now it's going to come true. Mm-hmm. That's all that's left is to make some preparations for our guests to arrive.
Yeah, you'd mentioned guests. Who's coming to the wedding?
Well, some friends of mine. They should be arriving at any time now, actually. I'm kind of excited because it's been a while since I've seen some of them, and not to be stereotypical or anything, but satyrs love partying.
Well, set away.
And I have to tell you, of course, you're invited as guests of honor at the ceremony. I insist.
Accepted.
Well, if you've got some friends coming, then we should maybe clear it so that your friends don't have to go all the way back here. Maybe we could start clearing away some of those boulders.
That would be very amenable to me. I was going to ask if you had any trouble navigating the cave system, whether there was any kinds of spelunking.
There were a couple griffs and some big crabby-like things, but other than that, we dispatched them pretty painfully.
Oh yeah, there was the giant pit as well.
Oh yeah, and there's a big chasm.
I really am not sure if red meant gricks or rifts, but both could be true. But this could also be a grift, and so we're...
Little bit of both.
There was also a big pool. That could be fun.
So you're not going to meet your beloved until tonight?
Well, the wedding is tomorrow morning, so...
Well, I guess you're going to wait until the wedding day.
Yeah.
The other member of Team Awesome Boys is the only one that sort of recognizes that there might be a bit of threat here. And Red sort of raises an eyebrow to Doran.
And Doran looks at Red, but when Doran heard wedding in the cave, he got all giddy because, he's thinking, oh, this is going to be like the olden days with the weddings and in the mountains.
So Red turns to Doran, thinking that Doran's going to have his back, in terms of fighting this thing, and Doran's all blushing.
But is just blushing a little bit.
Yes,
a bum blush.
So then Red shakes his head and looks towards Kraloth instead.
And Kraloth looks a bit concerned as well.
Ah, good. I got somebody. And then I take a half step towards Kraloth. I'm all in for love. I just want to make sure that
there's enough food for all the guests. I know exactly what you mean.
Jesus. And I take a half step towards Jack, and I'm like, Jack, tell me that I'm not the only voice of reason here. You must also think there might be a threat.
There are all kinds of untold dangers in the Underdark.
Yeah, well, all right.
Unimaginably horrible things.
All right, and Green Whistle's bride-to-be might be one.
Maybe.
Green Whistle looks up at you with these saucer-shaped eyes Red, you don't seriously think that my beloved would mean us harm?
Listen here, Green Whistle. If there's one thing true about me, it's that I don't think.
It's true.
Not even once.
And my finger just stays there, and there's this empty gaze in Red's eye, and he doesn't continue, and he's like, all right,
What's next?
Breeze kind of blows through his whiskers.
Yeah, no, it blows through my ears, and you hear like a ooh, like a hollow sound. Like,
Let's clear some rock.
like when you blow on an empty bottle.
All right, let's get this wedding going.
So, yeah, there's a little bit of housekeeping to be done. And Green Whistle's actually cleared up some of the glade, the forested glade where we've all been staying.
Has he been like chewing it like a goat? Has he been like bent over, like just chomping it?
He's cropped the grass.
He's just like,
Wow.
yeah, grazing.
There's
but-
so much grass here to eat.
As you guys notice, like you go back through your encampment maybe to put your belongings down or, get ready for this manual labor you're going to be doing ostensibly. He's like tidied up your workbenches. So like Doran's little forge station, you've got like your tongs like, nicely set out and he's like dusted around the fireplace and just kind of tried to make the place look a little bit neater. He's put away everyone's laundry.
Somebody's moved my tools and dusted. What happened to the dust?
That was my special dust.
I like this dust.
I like to know where things are. That's why I keep it dusty.
So yeah, how do you deal with this cave-in? It's like pretty substantial. Just a bunch of boulders all blocking this cave.
Yeah.
So I know move earth can't move boulders.
Correct.
But I'm wondering if we could dig holes in front of boulders to push the big things into, and so it's less overall movement. So we sort of dig a hole to try and.
Yeah.
Or even what about underneath them and just let them fall
Yeah.
down as like the dirt slides around?
Yeah,
them?
that's
Like,
kind of my
thinking
same thing.
is-
Like
Yeah.
angle
Right?
of things so they sort of fall in a controlled manner.
Of course you can.
And then if that doesn't work, I'm thinking I'll take the decanter of endless water while you move earth, and we'll double whammy it like with a fire
Oh,
hose.
that's
that's
fun,
brilliant.
too.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
So what are Kraloth and Doran doing as Red is like aiming this decanter of water? I love the image of Red holding this decanter of water because like cats in water are kind of not
Yeah, I was
great,
just
and
gonna
like
say, he's
you
just like,
shouting at it
in
to
the
be
background,
like,
it just
stop,
goes flying
stop!
by.
Yeah.
Not remembering the like key word that you use.
Doran's got to be the foreman of this whole opportunity, though. He's the
Oh,
mind-
yeah.
Well, Doran steps up and he rolls up his sleeves and he
Puts a pot in his head.
starts climbing up onto the very top of the boulders, and he starts.
He's the one with the chalk. Like I know where to mark the X. It's this rock, and then you know that's where they pay him the big bucks.
Now we're gonna need some dynamite, I think.
Don't have any.
Maybe even.
Not invented yet.
Well, then we'll just have to get the chisel set.
Would magic work?
I got an idea here.
And I hand the decanter of endless water to Kraloth for a second, and I run off screen. I come back like 5 minutes later with a severed Umber Hulk claw. Because they like cut through the stone, right? So they have to be
Right,
sharp. And he's just like
Wow.
dragging this Umber Hulk fucking claw, and he's
That's
like,
brilliant.
Here, Doran.
That is
Yeah.
really smart. Yeah.
And I hand it to Doran. I'm like,
This should cut through stone.
Doran, are you able to fashion something out of it quickly? Like this,
Oh.
like the lobster claws, like grab a hold of the tendon inside and
Yeah.
just sticks Orc Splitter into it.
Ultimately, I like what you guys have come up with using the move dirt. But isn't there also a move a heavy object?
Levitate.
object. I love that spell.
Yeah, I could levitate things if we don't expect.
It'd be
only-
like a very limited instance of
Well,
like
maybe-
it's not a cantrip.
I mean, I kind of like I like the ideas that you guys had, and I think we should use those. And so maybe whatever Doran does here isn't very successful. And let's say with the claw, he's able to lever one of the top boulders off, and it starts to come tumbling down, like in a very, very aggressive way towards the three of you, maybe staying at the bottom of the pile.
Ooh.
Oh, that's got to be the one that Jack catches in levitate and just lifts in the air. So it goes over us.
Yeah, good call.
And Doran looks back, a little bit of a bum blush, and he says, "Oh, I'm not really sure. I almost squashed you guys."
I love that bum
Maybe,
blush has
uh,
become a thing.
It's canon. It's
So
canon.
happy.
Hashtag bum.
Oh, sorry, guys.
Hashtag bum blush is got to be the next
Yeah.
sticker.
It's like Rudolph's nose.
It looks like those were the biggest boulders. Shouldn't be too much work for us to clear the rest out easily enough. We'll just take some time.
Yeah, good luck, guys. And Red walks away towards the woods.
Well, it's cool, Red, because as you head back towards the encampment, towards this forested glade, you notice that there's a couple of newcomers. Some of the guests have arrived.
Acting as usher, Red like runs over and he's like,
Hello, welcome to the wedding of Green Whistle. And how can I help you?
This is Malcolm confession.
There's a couple of other satyrs that have arrived. There are 4 of them. They're standing all around. They're carrying various musical instruments, and they've got colorful like backpacks on.
Nice.
And they're sort of in the middle of unloading the contents from these backpacks out onto the ground, sort of close to where Kraloth's cooking station is.
And I'm like,
I'm assuming you're with the groom's side.
Oh yeah, hi. What's up?
Not much. What's your name?
I'm Jex. It's so nice to be here. Oh, sorry. Oh, swallowed a gnat there. This is Dragata, Zrelaine, and Hasilo. Red, you said?
Yeah. I'm I'm with Green Whistle.
Oh, I mean, where is he? It's been so long.
Well, he's getting ready, resting up, clearing the glade.
and you look over and he's like bent over in a weird goat thing. Steven's next to him, and the two of them, the two of them are just chewing the grass.
Green Whistle like picks himself up and runs over. He's like, "Oh, friends, how are you? It's so
Do they
nice
greet
to
each
see
other like goats? Like, ah! And the other one's like,
It's a combination of like bro grabs where they run up and they just do like big hug,
Yeah.
and then also like.
nice.
Maybe even like some horn clashing. I
Oh my
think,
God! Yes,
too.
absolutely, Alex.
Festive
They
horn
run
clashing.
over to each other and do like a little bit of ramming, like of each
Yeah.
other's horns, sort of playfully aggression, and then
Yeah, I picture
get
there's
up
like
and-
there's like his university pals like you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Head crack.
yeah. They've got like a weird
You old
handshake.
so and so, finally getting the old hoof.
We never thought anyone would nail Green Whistle down. Free like the wind.
Yeah, and then Red continues off towards the woods, and as he gets there, he calls B over, and he's like, "Tsk,
B, I need your help with a super secret wedding project.
A wedding project.
Yeah, well, we're gonna do an old tabaxi.
and then the camera fades away as he whispers into her.
Yeah, they fade off into the distance.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So over the course of the afternoon, more guests are arriving, every half hour, 45 minutes. So there's this like shy Dryad who sort of melds in with whatever tree trunk is nearby. You only catch glimpses of him. He sort of spends some time just observing from the edges of the clearing, and then you can sort of see his form as he moves from tree to tree. He's like shrub-like, covered in needles, but he seems friendly. He's just, sort of keeping to himself. And then you see a wrinkly little figure with mossy green hair dressed in a garment, Dorian, that looks strangely familiar to you. You realize this is Elmort Bottle River, the forest gnome.
Oh, the guy who led us
No
across the
way.
river. I loved him.
He's traded out his patchwork smock in favor of the cultist robe that you gave him.
Oh no.
He's
Nicest gown.
He's savagely hemmed the garment to fit his tiny stature, but he's looking really good. He's like, "Oh, nice to see you again so soon. Oh, my friends. Absolutely incredible fortune that we're all here.
Can you believe it?
I was hoping I would see you. Here you are, safe and sound." Oh,
Doran returns all muddy from removing boulders with Kraloth and Rob. Kraloth and Jack.
Rob, the wizard.
Damn it.
Maybe we are melding into the same person.
I love it.
Doran then would approach and give this gnome a big hug.
aw.
Come here, you little rascal, you. Come here. And he like squeezes him and makes his head almost pop,
Yeah, Elmort's like, oh boy.
Now, let me get cleaned up. And of course, after I'm done hugging you,
It's covered in mud.
the gnome is now covered in mud and other leaves and twigs. Why don't you come take a swim with me? It'll be the water's fine. It'll be nice. We can scrub each other's backs.
It'll be nice sounded almost menacing.
And that's what Doran does. And without any shame, he drops down to the nude and jumps into the water again.
Oh, yeah, okay. That sounds awesome.
Let's do it.
You never say no to a dwarf in the nude.
Always want to bathe with a dwarf whenever you have the chance.
And there's like this scene of Doran scrubbing the gnome's back with his beard.
A beard.
What is that thing called? And it like
A loofah?
exfoliating? A loofah, yeah.
But your beard is the loofah?
His beard loofah. Yeah.
Oh, a little bit of blood on you. Oh, there's more blood on you. Oh, every time I wash you, this. Oh, me.
Dwarven culture is a trip, guys.
Doran culture is a trip.
Yeah, really, Doran.
Jack, you recognize some creatures as they arrive. These are pixies.
Ooh.
Yes, more fey creatures. And they sort
What'd you
of.
do with our dust?
They're tiny, so they're not fairies, but they're
Tinkerbell.
yeah, I would say like a little bigger than a Tinkerbell,
Ah.
probably like I don't know,
Oh, like
8
in between
inches
a
tall or so. Yeah,
A
yeah.
Tinkerbell? Tinkerbell's a unit of measurement.
That's
That's right. It's like it's like 2.5 Tinkerbells.
Whoa.
God, what does that half look like?
And they make themselves comfortable.
Kieran, we should go introduce ourselves to someone. Who do you want to go meet?
Great question, boss. Do you see that Dryad?
Yeah, I've never talked to a Dryad. We should go say hi.
This is the perfect opportunity.
There'll never be another one. As soon as the wedding kicks off, you know how hectic they get. We might never get a chance. Let me just get a journal, and we'll be right over there.
So cute. So you guys make your way over to make a new friend.
Absolutely.
Two shy folks. I'm reminded of a High Harvest Tide when you and Maxine put your heads together and just talked wizardly shit all evening.
Yeah.
And then Red and B sort of come out of the woods after a few hours. They look a little bit like they've been working on a project, and they sort of join the rest of the group.
And as the afternoon wanes on and Green Whistle introduces everyone to the satyrs and the pixies and the Dryad makes an appearance, he lets you all know, like, I'm honored that you all come to my wedding here in the High Forest. Obviously, it's a really magical place, and I think that this is going to be an occasion for all of us to remember for maybe the rest of our lives. And, satyrs like to party, so let's fucking get down. He just holds the most raucous Fae bachelor party.
And that's when you see Dorian arrive with nicely combed back hair. Like he's looking the cleanest you've ever seen him. All right, party down tonight.
Party down!
The pixies do something really interesting. They are starting to make a concoction for everyone.
Ooh.
So they're hanging out by the hot springs and they have these decanters of flower water that they put out in the darkness. As night comes on and moonlight starts streaming through the canopy of Shadowtop Cathedral, they put these decanters of flower water in these shafts of moonlight. You watch as they drop a little something into each decanter of water, and the something that they drop in, this little particle, starts jumping and fizzing inside the water, and the water turns a dark purple color. And then they pass it around to everybody.
Oh.
Yeah, and Red walks up and takes the tray like it's shots and starts handing it out. One for you, and one for you, and one for you.
Oh,
We're gonna party Mazdakin style!
Oh boy.
And he holds it up high and takes a shot back.
And that's when I imagine music breaks into
Oh, yeah.
God.
effect.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All the satyr bring their instruments out and they're playing music long into the night. They're eating ravenously, kind of like, piggishly almost. It's like crumbs of honeyed cake are flying everywhere. They've brought these huge, these wineskins. They brought these
Yeah.
huge wineskins full of this delicious ruby red wine that they drink greedily from and then pass around. Elmort gets drunk with the satyrs.
After one sip.
So who is drinking this wine?
Oh, I
that
take a shot.
You take a shot?
Dorian's in there like a dirty shirt.
Oh, it's interesting, Doran. One of the pixies, as she's about to hand you a little flask, she sort of looks at you and she's like, dwarves usually don't like this.
Really? Well, let me try it. And then Dorian takes a big swig.
You go for it?
I feel like
Yeah.
Red's standing right next to Red and Doran. And I hold it up and I'm like, Team Awesome Boys! And I cheers you as we both down it.
Yeah.
Shots.
Yeah. Like
It's-
our wooden cups.
Yeah. It's subtle in flavor. It's very floral. This is something that elves would fucking dig. But, it's no heavy alcohol. However, the moment that this fluid passes down your throat and into your body, you just feel silly. Induces this frivolous behavior. And for the next couple of hours, you guys are inclined to do just silly stuff. Just whatever's super silly.
Why, this is just flavorless little pet. it's not it's not really tasty at all. In fact, it's kind of got no taste to it. I need something a little stronger. And he reaches over and he pokes Red's belly, you know? He says, I need something a little stronger in my belly. I don't know about you, but I need something in my belly a little bit stronger than you got in yours.
And Red sees Doran just like acting a fool, and then he looks down at his empty cup and goes, I don't think mine's working.
Oh, there's more. There's more.
It's just kind of a social lubricant.
I'll take another one.
You do another shot of Fey wine.
Doran does get up on the table and he starts to dance and sing in an outrageous sort of fun lovingness and, wrapping his arms around every satyr and fey creature in the room.
And Red gets up on the table too.
Let's dance, Doran!
And Red and Doran start dancing around on the
I'm
table.
really enjoying this very much, but have you got any mead? Because I like the taste of that better.
Kraloth, what are you doing this whole time?
I think that Kraloth is just sitting back, and he's sitting down next to. He's sitting down on a
Are
tree.
you undead? Are you undead?
You
undead? No? Okay. What are you? You undead?
You look kind of weird. Are you undead?
Okay, we're good. No, he's not worried at all. He's got this, very blissful, almost motherly look on his face as he sits on a big tree root.
Aww.
And he's just watching as the pixies float above the tables, dancing and giggling between the boughs. And he sees Doran and Red on the table doing a jig with Almort and Green Whistle. And he sees the other satyrs playing on the stage and some people splashing in the water. And he just smiles to himself and to the scene before him and just savors it. Just lets it all soak in, because it's sometimes he doesn't see these vivid colors.
Yeah.
I love it. I want everyone to make a wisdom save.
Uh-oh.
That's right. We're rolling dice tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I got a 1.
Oh. 14.
4.
Oh.
I got a 18.
All right. So it is just as you are observing the goings on, Kraloth, with this motherly love, this care and attention and appreciation for the celebration of life and love and bringing together of people in this holy place, just kind of a wholesome night, that you see a fucking badger walk by.
A badger.
Oh.
Yep. And then hot on its tail, a tortoise.
Yeah.
Jack, this badger is you.
Okay.
Doran, this tortoise is you. You've both been polymorphed by a devil may care pixie who's interested in making things just a little bit more ridiculous tonight. So, so Doran, you one moment are dancing on the table with some satyrs, and now
I feel like Red looks over and he's like, Doran, looks away, and then looks back and he's just gone, and there's like a mist of magic, and I'm like, Doran, where'd you go?
there's a tortoise with a beard.
Oh, well, hello, turtle friend. And I bend down and I'm like, you have a nice little beard. And I go to like tickle his face.
I'm feeling awfully small and slow.
Doran, I think you got turned into a turtle.
And I pick him up and I lift him high above my head.
What?
Turtle Doran!
And there's like a cheer across the crowd.
Turtle Doran!
And I start pouring beer into the turtle's mouth.
Jack, one moment you are maybe observing the lights and the way that the constellations are just barely visible through the shadow top trees here, and then the next moment you a fucking fairy just flies by your face, and then you are a badger.
You suddenly have a taste for grubs.
There's definitely a moment of like, fucking, what just happened? Okay, I get it. Polymorph. I tried to do this a minute ago. I get what's happening to me. Nobody's going to be mad if I start digging, because I'm a badger. I don't know any better. I can know what shadow top roots look like now. I'm going to go figure out where they go and just start digging a hole under a tree to figure out how all the roots work.
Even as a badger, he's a nerd.
You're the guy at a party who's like, but what are the ingredients of this alcohol I'm imbibing? I'm reading the fucking label.
Honestly, I was really trying to figure out how much moonlight was an important ingredient to Fey wine, and how there were some notes on that before
yes. I mean, you probably spoke with one of the pixies who is making, and they're like telling you about how it's a raisin from the Feywild that they dropped into the decanter of water, and then all of a sudden she's like, oh, and by the way, Badger.
Fair. All right. That's what I get.
I'm imagining you said that entire spiel, though, about seeing the roots out loud.
Oh, for sure.
I don't know if you're a little drunk or something, but you're just like, you're a badger, and then Kraloth's looking at you kind of funny, and then all of a sudden you start talking. And he's like, okay, it's Jack.
It's just a badger in a jaunty cap.
And then
Yep.
Kraloth Red runs up to you holding a turtle, and you can see Red he's swaying, he's like, Turtle Doran! And he turns around and starts running around again. And again, the crowd just cheers. You just see Red's hand held up high between the people and a turtle between, and the turtle's just like kicking wildly.
I need some lettuce.
And I get Turtle Doran lettuce. So after a little while, as Turtle Doran is like eating a piece of lettuce, the crowd is like getting at its climax and rowdy, and Red turns to Orin, and I'm like, Orin, pull! And you see Red standing on top of a table, and Orin has like these like handfuls of these little clay jars.
Okay.
And he chucks one of them up, and you see Red sort of take aim with his bow, and he fires. And I'm going to cast Fairy Fire.
Ooh.
And what happens as I smash this little clay pot filled with sand is every little granular piece of sand gets immediately imbued with this red fairy fire. And like a firework gets set off over everybody in the woods. And everyone's exactly like that. They're like, ooh. And I'm like, again! And he throws another one, and I cast it in like blue and then green. And there's like these little like pops of fireworks in the middle of the forest.
That's worth inspiration.
That's inspiration.
I love that. So
100%.
Red and Orin go skeet shooting, which becomes fireworks magically.
Nice.
Plus, if we need it, we also have advantage against the sand.
Thanks again to our great old one Patreon supporters, Christopher Ryan Evans and Mitchell Cardwell, as well as our shamers, Doug Churchman, Colin Burkhardt, and Merlin. You make all of this possible. See you around the table.
Who did the weenie clap? Who did it? I heard a weenie clap.
Uh-oh.
Might have been me.
It was like this.
Me, I did it. I'm a weenie.
Oh.
I own my weeniness.
Nothing is less satisfying than a weenie clap.
Unless you're clapping a weenie.
Thank you very much.